Good morning. The flow we're doing today is called Baby Crow Flow, and it's going to lead up to an arm balance. My sprinklers are starting. We'll see how that goes. It leads up to an arm balance called Baby Crow, which just requires some shoulder strength and core strength. So we'll be working on that throughout our 30-minute practice today. So we'll begin by laying on the mat on your back. Just in a nice, relaxed Shavasana, taking a moment to connect with your breath. Breathing in through the nose, breathing out through the nose. Place the soles of your feet on the mat, and just begin by dropping the knees to each side, stretching out the hip flexors. This is called windshield vipers. And I'm really getting a nice stretch here in my hip flexors. Extend your left leg and bring your right knee in close to the chest. Roll out the ankle. And then grabbing the outside of the knee with the left hand, pull the knee across the body for a spinal twist. Extending the left arm out to the side, the right arm actually. Just feeling a nice twist in the spine. Coming back to center, extend the right leg, bring the left knee in. Roll out the ankle on the left foot. And then when you're ready, grabbing the outside of the knee with the right hand, pull the knee across the body for a twist on the other side. This time extending the left arm. Your gaze can be up, or it can be towards the left hand. Coming back to center, grab both knees, crossing out the ankles, and begin to rock on the spine, gaining enough momentum until you're sitting all the way up. And finding yourself in a tabletop position, a neutral tabletop position. From here, we'll take a few rounds of cat-cow. Inhale into cow, expanding through the collarbones and tilting the hips up. And as you exhale, chin comes to chest, expanding through the shoulder blades, tucking the pelvis. Inhale back to cow. Exhale, chin to chest. Inhale, cow pose. And exhale one more time for cat. Coming back to your neutral tabletop. Inhale, left arm up to the sky. Thread the left arm behind the right arm, bringing the left ear and cheek all the way down for a nice shoulder stretch. Option to walk this front arm out. We'll be doing a lot of shoulder work later, so we want to make sure our shoulders are nice and stretched and warm. Bringing the right hand back close to the face, unthread the arm, reaching back to the sky, and repeating that on the other side. Inhaling the right arm to the sky, and as you exhale, threading it behind the left arm. The right cheek comes down, and if this is putting too much pressure on your neck, shift your hips back slightly, and that should take some of the pressure up. Option to extend the opposite arm, Bringing the left hand back close to the face, unthread that right arm back up to the sky. Coming back to our neutral tabletop position. Tuck the toes and push the hips up into downward facing dog. Pedal out the feet. Check in with your body, make sure you're not rounding through the back. Looks like you're pushing your chest back towards your knees. You can have a bend in the legs. Sometimes I like to turn both heels, drop both heels to one side. Then release the hips down. Drop the heels to the other side. On your next exhale, bend your knees, look between your hands, and step to the top of your mat. Inhale, coming into a half lift. Weight is in the balls of the feet, back is flat. Exhale, forward fold. And inhale, reverse swan dive, arms all the way up to the sky. And exhale the hands through heart center. We'll take a few sun salutations here to warm up. Inhale, arms all the way up to the sky. And as you exhale, swan dive down into your forward fold. Chest is connected to the thighs. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plant the hands and step back to a high plank, protracting through the shoulder blades, engaging through the core. On our first vinyasa, we'll drop to the knees, untuck the toes, and slowly lower all the way down to the chest. As you inhale, press the tops of the feet into the mat, coming up into baby cobra. Exhale, push back through tabletop and up to downward facing dog. We'll be here for 5 breaths. You can hold this position or feel free to find some movement. See if you can get your hips a little bit higher. 2 more breaths. And on your next exhale, bend the knees, look between the hands, step to the top of the mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, all the way up. Reset, hands through heart center. Inhale, hands up. Exhale, swan dive. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plant the hands. Step back to plank. Option to come down to the knees again or to stay lifted. Lower all the way to the chest or halfway down. Inhale into cobra or upward facing dog. And as you exhale, pushing back through tabletop or flipping back up into downward dog. You always have the option to come into a child's pose for these 5 breaths. Making sure your fingers are wide and pressing into the mat. Two, 1, bend the knees. Look towards the hands and step or hop to the front of the mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms all the way up to the sky. Reset. We have one more sun salutation. And then we'll begin our flow. Exhale. Inhale, half lift. Plant the hands, step, or hop back to your chaturanga or your plank. Taking the vinyasa that works best for you. Needing a downward facing dog, you always have the option to skip the vinyasa and go straight from plank to downward dog. Plant the left foot Inhale the right leg to the sky for three-legged dog. Bend the knee and open up through the hips for dog with the scorpion tail. Option to stay here or to flip your dog, coming in to wild thing. Getting a nice back bend here. Coming back the way you came into it, planting the hand, coming back up into your three-legged dog. Come forward, knee to nose. Finding your runner's lunge, placing the foot in between the hands. Drop the back knee and inhale, Anjaliasana or low lunge. Making sure you're not dumping into your lower back. The ribs are staying knitted. Core is engaged. And as you exhale, the hands come to the inside of the leg. Heel toe that right foot to the edge of the mat for a lizard lunge. Open and close your knee a few times to warm up that hip joint. Coming onto the blade edge of the pinky toe as you go out, and as you come in, squeezing the knee to the tricep. Three more. 2 and 1. And from here, planting the left hand, raise the right hand to the sky. Option to stay here or to lift the back knee. Hand comes to the foot for a bind. Pressing the foot into the hand, opening up through the shoulders and the chest. And release. Heel toe the foot back to the center. Frame the foot with the hands. Tuck the back toe. Come into your runner's lunge. Left foot comes in to meet the right foot. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms all the way up to the sky. I keep hitting my plan. Hands reset. I'm going to turn the other way so I don't keep hitting my flower pot. So we're in mountain pose. Inhale, arms up to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Plant the hands and take your vinyasa. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Planting the right foot this time. Inhale your left leg to the sky for three-legged dog. Bending at the knee, opening through the hips. Coming into three-legged dog with the tail. Option to stay here or to flip over, coming into wild thing. Coming out of it, placing the hand back on the ground, twisting on the back foot. Hi, Hazel. Back to three-legged dog. Inhale, knee to nose. Plant the foot between the hands, runner's lunge. Dropping the back knee, untucking the toe. Inhale for low lunge. And as you exhale, planting the hands between, on the inside of the left leg. Heel toe your foot to the edge of the mat for lizard lunge. Opening and closing the knee on this side. And when you come in, really squeezing the knee into the tricep. We'll be using this technique later in baby crow. And 2 more times. Planting the left hand, Inhale the right arm to the sky. Option to stay here or to continue on into your bind. Opening up through the shoulders and the chest. And release. Heel toe that foot to frame. Your hands are framing the foot. Come back to your runner's lunge. As you exhale, right foot comes to meet left. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, all the way up to the sky. Hands come through heart center. And reset mountain pose. Inhale, arms to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plant the hands. Step or hop back to your chaturanga. Upward dog. Exhale, meeting in downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, we're going to come down onto the knees, back into our tabletop. Drop onto the forearms and make sure they're shoulder width apart. You can measure this by bringing the hands to the elbows and then bringing them back forward. That's about shoulder width apart. We'll start with the left leg. The left leg extends back to the back of the mat. Inhale the leg up. And as you exhale, knee comes to tricep. Okay, we're going to do that 5 times. Inhale. Exhale. 5, 4, 3. Just tap if you can. If not, just get as close as you can. 2 and 1. And release that leg down. Sit back into your child's pose for a moment. Arms can come behind you to give the shoulders a break. We'll repeat that again with the right leg. Coming back to tabletop, dropping the forearms, extending the right foot, inhaling the leg up, and as you exhale, tapping the tricep. 1, 2, 3, 4, we're pressing away with your shoulders. 5, and exhale, coming back into your child's pose. Taking a moment to catch your breath. Inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the nose. Inhale, coming up onto the heels. Arms all the way up to the sky. And as you exhale, cactus the arms, clasp behind you, squeezing the shoulder blades, lifting up through the chest. Slowly exhale. Come back to your tabletop. Forearms come to the ground. And you have the option to leave the hands parallel or to cross clasp hands. Just make sure you don't interlock fingers. Fingers stay connected, just grasping palms. From here, come into a downward dog. This is your dolphin pose. It's just like downward dog, except much harder. And you're on the forearms. You really have to push your head back in between the shoulder blades. From here, we're going to do 5 dolphin kisses. That's what they're called. I'll show you why. You come forward, almost as if you could kiss your hand. You don't have to. I just put my chin to my hand. Okay, so we're going to do that 5 times. 1, push back with those shoulder blades. 2, 3, 4, 5. Come back to the knees. Back to child's pose. Relax those shoulders. Sit back on the heels. Okay, inhale, arms to the sky. Cactus the arms. And squeeze the shoulder blades for this beautiful cobra stretch. All right, we have one more core exercise to get ready for our baby crow. We're gonna come into a forearm plank. So I always like to start, again, in tabletop. Come down to the forearms. Option to have them parallel or hands crossed. And this time coming out, extending the legs into a plank. Doing those same dolphin kisses. And we're gonna do 10 of these. 1, 2, just rocking back and forth. 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10. Coming back to the knees. Coming back to your child's pose. Catching the breath. Inhale. Exhale, cactus the arms. Clasping hands. One more chest opener. Feeling that sun on my face this morning. Feels amazing. Okay. From here, I'm even getting sweaty. It's humid. Place the hands down. Tuck your toes and push yourself back into a toe squat. You can leave your hands on the mat for balance or lengthen through the spine. Hands come to prayer center. From here, open the knees. Place the hands down in front of you and open up the feet a little bit for your malasana or yogi squat. My feet are at a 45-degree angle. My toes are on the edge of the mat. My heels are down, but if you have tight ankles, then you might be up on the balls of your feet. That's fine. I'm using my triceps and my elbows to separate my knees. And this is our final pose before we begin working on our baby crow. Release the hands down to the center and see if you can walk your legs in a little bit closer so that your feet are pointing more towards the top of the mat and not so much at an angle. So baby crow, the arms you'll be on the forearm. I'll show you what it looks like and then we'll walk through it. So I've got my knees up on my triceps, almost all the way up to my armpits. My hands are in front of me. And I'm slowly gonna lean forward, coming down onto the forearms. As I lean forward, just like we did in the dolphin kisses, I lean all the way forward. My hips go high until I feel my feet becoming light. Maybe picking up one foot and then the other. So my face was pretty close to the ground. This requires a lot of shoulder flexibility. And if your forehead's on the ground, that's okay. This takes a lot of strength. Another option is you could be lifted up on a block. I left my blocks inside. Trying to see if there's like a rock I could stand on to use. We'll improvise here. So you can really use anything. This is about how tall a block would be. So if you have a yoga block or a rock, you can put that in the back of your mat, and then I would balance in my, just like we did in our toe balance, balanced up on the toes. This just brings the ground a little bit higher to you so that you can get your knees up a little bit higher. And it's the same concept. I walk my hands out slowly until my forearms reach the ground. And maybe you stop here, and that's fine. Eventually, keep leaning forward, pushing the shoulders away, getting your feet off the block. Another option for this pose is that you can, instead of getting underneath the triceps, you can be more on the outside of the triceps, like when we were doing the lizard knee stretches, if that's what it was called. So let's try it that way. So we'll be more in a traditional Malasana, and this time instead of getting my knees under my armpits, I'm coming more to the outside of the tricep. I come down to the forearms, and I'm squeezing, squeeze those triceps, squeeze the knees. Inhale. So that's another option. So we're gonna do it one more time. So pick the option that works best for you on the block or on the outside of the legs. And we're gonna do our best one. Woo. And really make sure you're pressing those shoulders away from the ground. And inhale, we're gonna try and hold it for 5 counts if we can. I don't even know if I can do that. All right, inhale. And as you exhale, lower down. Sit bones come up. And hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come back to the toes. Pushing up. And let's come into a forward fold. Ooh, that feels good. You have the option, take a bind here behind your legs. We were squatting for so long, it feels good to stretch those hamstrings up. Let's come back down to a seated position, and we'll end our practice today. Coming into a butterfly pose. Soles of the feet are together. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Round over the legs, head and neck are relaxed. Slowly inhale, come back up, lengthen, and as you exhale, twist to the right. Opposite hand grabs opposite knee. Looking over that back shoulder. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, twist the opposite way. And bringing the feet into an easy pose. Inhale the arms to the sky. Cactus the arms. Clasping behind for one last heart opener. And release. Bring the hands back to heart center. I hope you had fun working on Baby Crow. And thanks for practicing with me. Namaste.